Yeah, I'm going to cut you off, but is your mic unmuted?
All right,
Okay.
welcome back to the broadcast. This is Orange Esports versus MUFC. And yes, this is Luminous and Gods from
Well,
Beyond the Summer.
people know it's me, man. They've been listening to me have a conversation for the last 2
By
minutes.
myself, yeah, okay.
That's all good.
It's okay.
Off to a smashing start here tonight. This is what happens when we just wake up.
Yeah, it really is. I'm not sure if you guys heard it from our voice, but the couple things that we talked about so far is the AoE-ness that is Orange Esport, and the fact that Rubik is able to steal Magnus Ultimate as well as Luna Ultimates thanks to the long casting animation of those follow-up spells for these two heroes. Also, Mushi is not going to be playing today. He's going to be replaced by EE or KKEE or KK Imba apparently.
Yep.
And that's pretty much it. Of course, this is the, let me get this right, GMPGL, hosted by Dota Talk. Gotta make sure that I get every letter of the tournament correct.
Yeah, it's confusing. The GMPGL, which is your regional qualifiers, as in Malaysia, I think Singapore, pretty much all throughout Asia, Thailand, Vietnam, etc., and each country has a GMPGL, and then the top 1 or 2 teams from the GMPGL advance to the GST Dota 2, which is essentially your 2-day tournament where I think it's like 4 groups of 4 teams or something. I'm not sure the exact format, and well, they fight it out. You have a winner, and then the winner from the GST Dota 2, they play in the GST Challenge. So it's this big kind of phase 1 is the GMPGL, phase 2 is the GST Dota 2, then phase 3 is the GST Challenge.
Yep, and don't confuse this with the GST Challenge that's going to be coming up after this, which is Vichy Gaming versus LGD International, and then after that series, we're going to see Orange versus MUFC again. So a lot of day, but Tinker is going to be the 4th pickup here, so never mind about the Nyx Assassin being a solo mid. It's going to be Tinker, most likely going to be solo mid. Now, with that said, Tinker could also go in the safe lane as well, so Orange Esports still keeping up their lineup somewhat kind of secretive in terms of how they're going to be laying it.
Yeah, I like this. It's almost definitely in the higher Tinker. This is a hero he kind of got, like, I mean, that's when he got noticed and sort of picked up by MUFC, was playing this hero for Invasion. He got drafted into MUFC, he played there, and basically MUFC caught up to Orange in terms of skill and results, and then Orange are like, we can't have that, let's recruit this guy. So he's now playing with Orange Esports, and Tinker, one of his sort of first big heroes that he got noticed for. So excited to see him playing that. MUFC, well, we'll have to look to see how they respond to something like a Tinker. They've already got some alright heroes for catching out a hero like Tinker, mostly in the mag, but they may need to get something a bit else here. Maybe look at something even like a Clockwork going to the offlane. Otherwise, well, they need a strong try, and they need something which they can maybe aggressively gank Tinker on early game. Get something like a Shadow Demon Lina and go for a few early smoke ganks.
Yeah, judging from what we saw yesterday from the MUFC versus Vichy Gaming series on the GST Challenge, is that when MUFC gets off to a rolling start, which is game number 2, they could easily close out game. But if the game goes late enough, the team is, even in a disadvantaged situation, they don't give up. And I feel like Tinker is one of those heroes that could bring it to late game if Orange plays it well enough. But I won't count MUFC out, despite if he can go in the late game, especially when they pick up Nature's Prophet as well. That's going to be a very good hero to combat against the split push of the Tinker. And depending on the item choices, you could be able to actually pick off a couple of these very, very squishy heroes in the form of Rubik and Nyx Assassin. But for now, MUFC is still not really giving away what central core strategy they want to do. It seems like it's going to involve in a lot of pushes, but they have decent team fight as well as laning capability to add along to that as well.
Yeah, it feels like they just want a bit of everything, but without not being too greedy in it. They're just making sure that they have some strong. They'll have a strong character late game. They'll have a strong team fight just because whenever you've got a mag, and then they've got all this pushing power. So if they get off to a good early start, they can push down towers really easily with this Nature's Prophet and Luna with the aura there as well. So I think for MUFC, it's just they want this good, well-rounded draft. They don't want to really look to put all their eggs in one basket, going for an all-out team fight or an all-out early game push, or this big late game carry in the Faceless Void like we've seen them do. The thing that they have to worry about is going to be this last pick, though. This Orange Neolution Esports last pick is probably going to be some kind of carry or semi-carry. That's what's missing. And it's going to be a Morphling.
Wow. All right. This pick woke me up. This is a great, great fun pick to watch. I'm not sure if it's going to be a shotgun build. We're not sure if it's going to be a Manta build, or even going to be a Lincoln Sphere build, or BKB first. Morphling is one of the most versatile carry. I think a lot of us do not miss seeing him because that's all we saw at TI2, but it's been a long while, and Orange Esports going to run the Morphling again. How do you feel about this pick in terms of adding to the lineup and against Luna, and how's that matchup going to work out?
I mean, it's a hero who's going to just need to get a lot of farm. He'll be given a lot of farm. I think there was everything else was banned out. They decided it's still a legitimate pick. And Enchantress last pick from MUFC, they can really put a lot of pressure on Morphling. That's really the slight worry here. But I think Morphling does okay if he gets given the early free farm. I think you need to go the Lincoln Sphere build just because of how you're a lot squishier and easier to kill now with all the nerfs you've received. So I think he needs the extra stats as well as the HP and mana regen that a Lincoln's gives. But Lincoln's into the shotgun does work pretty well here, but we'll have to see what Kasich Imbat looks to do.
Guys, just making sure that we're both going to be available on Dota TV. Seems like I'm currently muted. I'm making sure that I am not muted, and hopefully you are able to do the same as well.
It should be good on my end. I already did a little toggle, so...
Alright, good stuff. Again, do apologize for any technical difficulties so far, but it is the first match of the day. This is the GMPGL hosted by Dota Talk, and this is the first match between Orange Esports and the MUFC. On the Radiant side, looks like everybody's running out. KYXY handling the Darkseer. We do have Net playing the Nyx Assassin. KK Imba on that Morphling. We do have Core on the Tinker, and last but not least, Extinct playing the Rubik.
Well, over on the Dire side, it's the MUFC Armageddon Invasion team. They've got way too many tags for my liking. Winter's actually missing his Beyond the Summit tag. I'm going to have to go have a talk to him after this game. We've got Winter playing the Shadow team. We've got Wang Wang, not tagged up. He's not officially in this MUFC team yet, playing the Mag. We've got FCFC playing the Enchantress. We've got Hon Trash Play, another player who's not officially in the team, playing Luna. And then we've got TFG playing the Nature's Prophet. So MUFC technically only a 3-man roster right now. They're maybe trialing some players. Actually, the two players, Hon Trash Play and Wang Wang, are technically in Orange Esports' Hon team right now. And with some big upcoming Hon tournaments, I think that they probably want to just play those, get some free cash, and then come back to playing Dota 2.
Man, these players, Hon Trash Pro, pretty good at Hon, I heard.
Yeah, but also pretty good at Dota 2 and Dota 1. Like he goes way back to playing like in some sort of like legendary Malaysian teams back when he was playing under the name WTF and L. He's like old school Dota 1 pro.
Yeah, goes pretty far back. So the question that we're going to be kind of talking about is whether we're going to see offensive trialing or defensive trialing from MUFC, and it's very likely to see when you have an Enchantress, it's most likely defensive trialing. Yesterday during the cast we talked about, it's actually very dangerous for these junglers like Enchantress and Chen to go offensive jungle right at minute 1, considering that the creeps don't spawn to 30 seconds in, and by that time you could be kind of chased around all day long by the enemy supports when you don't have the help of your creeps. So generally, these junglers like to start on their own jungle and then proceed to gank into the enemy jungle if that's what they want to do.
Yeah, and early smoke pickup. So I think most likely scenario is we see that safe trialing and they go for an early smoke gank on the mid lane Tinker around sort of the level 2, level 3 minute mark, maybe even earlier. Like they can just pick up one creep and go right away. They could kill the Tinker at level 1 with just one creep, I imagine. With they've got Mag in the mid lane, so just one shockwave from the Mag and level 2 shockwave maybe, and they can do it. Orange worried about Roshan. They go and check using Nyx Assassin. Not going to be the case.
There are Treants, there is the Luna Aura, and of course there's Empower, so there's definitely some Roshan capabilities. Speaking of the Tinker build, this is very reminiscent of the Yafa Shadow Fiend item build to start. Max out as much stats as possible, which is going to be very, very key, especially against those Enchantress gank that's going to be coming in. Puts him at 587 HP, which is quite a bit for a Tinker. I wonder what build that he's going to be going for as well. If he's going to go for the March of Machine build, it's actually going to be very dangerous for Enchantress to smoke in. She might actually die simply to the March, because they do insane amount of damage early on.
Yeah, and something actually, I mean, just quickly back on that Roshan point, it was actually something MUFC did to Orange a couple series ago. They did a level 1 Roshan in one of the games, and I don't think Musha was too pleased about it. He didn't like being caught off guard and somewhat embarrassed by MUFC. They went on to win that game, so Orange making sure they don't get caught out again by it, and do check that one out. But I mean, as far as this game goes, as far as the lane stage goes, Tinker should have a decent time at mid lane. He hasn't gone for an early bottle. He's gone for a lot of stat points. And I think it's partly worried about the incoming ganks from the Enchantress.
Yeah, definitely that's going to be the case. As we do see the two supports going to be going back in the jungle. You do see KYXY still staying nearby, although he's obviously waiting for the level 1 creep camp that's going to be spawning. So going to give up the top lane, as we do see most kind of junglers or top lane solo do nowadays. Brax is definitely one of his favorite strategies to do something like that.
Yeah, it seems to be the best way to play this. He can now stack this big camp and then use the Iron Shell, put it on the creep, and actually clear it relatively easily. You get really fast level 4, level 5. You basically level as fast as if you were soloing, getting all the XP in the world. So For the Dire team, they're doing the same thing. MUFC send the Nature's Prophet into their jungle. TFG actually has 4 clarity, so it's essentially a jungle Nature's Prophet build right now.
Although one hero jungle is a lot faster. I'll let you guys decide on which one that might be. There's some sick illusion pulling going on in the jungle as well here by Extinct, definitely showing off his micro powers, and that's gonna really allow the 2 supports on the Radiant jungle to really catch up. Of course, you do see Winter jungling up as well, but nowhere in the near same speed. And of course, once the Darkseer gets back in the lane, he could actually dominate the lane quite easily as well. Luna sure will have the Tranquil Boots, but still, you're going to see a very, very farm KYXY and a very highly level KYXY.
Look at this mid. Here comes your first smoke gank, and they've got a sentry ward for it. They knew this is coming. They smoke up. Tinker's going to see it. He runs down. He's not going to get. Oh, he may get caught by an ensnare.
No. But here comes that Marcher Machine, and that Marcher Machine is going to do a humongous amount of damage. And look at this Enchantress. That armor, the lack of armor, if you will, is actually hurting him quite a bit. And there we go. Looks like we are going to have a... Uh-oh. He's going to keep diving. There was a Skewer. Skewering backwards right now. Tower still focusing on the Magnus. There's going to be a right-click going the other way. Wang Wang in big trouble, but that's going to be fine. But the 2 creeps dying under Tower, that's going to put Tinker close to level 4. So surviving the first blood gank, thanks to the Essential War up top, and most important, thanks to that Marcher Machine and very, very powerful juke. Looks like we have lost Gods, and hopefully he can reconnect. Computer restarted? Yeah. It's okay. That's why we have 2 computers. And you'll be able to take a pizza break. We did have pizza for breakfast. Please no chat. Thank you for Ms. Meanwhile, here on the top lane here, Hantrash Pro is getting his CS on. Only 11 CS, which is actually quite low considering that he is Luna. Ooh, missing those key CS. And you have Lunar Blessing. You shouldn't be missing any CS under tower. So Hantrash Pro, perhaps rusty for his first game of the day, whatever the case might be. He's missing a lot of value, if you will. Because you definitely be sure that Morphling is having better CS, despite having a lower or more awkward animation and less damage, if you will. Back in the mid lane, though, I wonder how this really is going to match up, as we do have Tinker doing quite alright. Going to put the 4th point here into the Rocket. Generally, most players actually like to mix and match in terms of Laser, Rocket, as well as Marcher Machine. You want to max March as soon as possible, considering the ancient stacks and whatnot, but for the most part, you want to get points into your Rockets as well as Laser as well. But back on the top lane, look at the scary, scary push as we see Jungler Prophet coming out here, as well as Jungler Enchantress coming out, and they're just doing a really, really scary push up on the top lane. And having Luna's aura here is absolutely insane. Everybody's getting all these plus damage. Tier 1 tower is going to be going down very quickly after that glyph. And that's something that the Radiant tri-lane can't do at all. Because Nyx Assassin as well as Rubik, not exactly good pushers. We do see KYXY coming out here to actually stop this push, but you really can't able to do so, because if you put an Iron Shout on an ally creep, that creep's going to get focused down very, very quickly. So he's going to try to have to put an Iron Shout on the enemy creeps. But again, he can't get too close, or else he's going to get easily picked off by a Disruption Centaur Stomp combo. So you can see that he's staying relatively far back. Here comes a big Iron Shout on the melee creep, but they're nuking the hell out of it. Focusing it, focusing it, focusing it. Here comes the rotation from the Rubik Fable, weakening this creep wave, but the siege unit, the creeps, as well as the Centaur just tanking it up. And I do believe this tier 3 tower is going to go down, but will it go down without a fight here? As here comes the teleportation score. That is going to be from the Nyx Assassin, and that should be enough. That's a haste Nyx Assassin as well. Are they going to go for the Prophet? Prophet's by himself. He's very, very squishy. Seems like they're going to let him go, but actually going to get a tower deny out of that as well. Overall, I want to say it's a slight victory from Orange eSports. Sure, they lost 2 towers on that push, and that's going to give Dire a lot of gold to work with. However, they're going to get that goal eventually, I want to say, in the form of these particular towers. And good rotation here, netting them a deny on that tier 2 is very, very key. Good thing that we, well, not exactly good thing that we have a disconnect, but that's going to give my time for my co-caster to come back. Gods is looking for pizza right now, so.
Carry on.
A quick reconnect is going to give us some time to look at some of the CS here. Morphling actually leading all of the CS in the entire game, and of course having a Ring of Aquila very, very helpful, especially when you're toggling your agility morph to mostly agility. Sure, Nature's Prophet could actually come in the lane and start, harassing the Morphling quite a bit, but because of the level advantage and the fact that Morphling's waveform nukes for a ton of damage early on, yeah, he could actually just wave in and start harassing the hell out of TFG and basically usher him out of lane. There's no way that TFG could actually stay in lane against a Morphling. if he's actually suffering from a level disadvantage. Also, Morphling is going to be upgrading into Treads soon after as well, so TFG really can't stay in lane. He's actually going to be Ancient farming, which is fine for, you know, level and farm status, but he's not going to be able to stop this Morphling, which is going to be the key. Again, my question is what item he's going to be going for. Is it going to be a quick shotgun, which does synergize quite well with the rest of the Radiant team, especially when you have heroes like Nick Assassin as well as the Tinker, or it's going to be a more standard Linken's and Manta build. We'll have to wait and see for that. Nyx Assassin, after that good rotation up top, will be going back on the bot here to start pulling and start denying more XP to the Dire. Meanwhile, KYXY is going to be pushing on the top lane here. He already got Soul Ring and a bottle, which is something that we don't see too often on the Darkseer. But it's not a bad item to pick up, especially if you want to play a little bit more aggressive in the mid game. Wang Wang back in the mid lane here, already got a double damage and a Crank Boot being finished, so he's going to be doing quite alright, although not leading really in terms of CS. Tinker not doing too well in the CS as well, but you know he's going to catch up eventually with those Ancient stacks, so he should be mostly fine. But looks like they want to set up a gank on the mid lane against Wang Wang. Going to be very, very difficult to do so. They do have the Darkseer, but unfortunately he doesn't have any points in the vacuum just yet because he's only level 5. For, you know, everything that's going on so far, obviously the Dire does have that tier 2 or 2 tier 1 or 2 towers overall. But I feel like Orange eSports is in a very, very good spot because Morphling's getting free farm. Tinker is getting mostly free farm. Looks like we have a huge rotation of, look at all these heroes. Are they going to smoke deep in the enemy jungle? That's a question. No, looks like, I think they are waiting to smoke after you clear out this camp. And where's that smoke? No smoke being just yet. Are they going to smoke over here? That's kind of a dangerous smoke to do. No smoke just yet, dominating a creep. And I think they really want to get this Tinker. Meanwhile, these guys are going to be backing off as well. Having a nice stack, and KYXY is going to propel himself to a quick level 7, which is going to be extremely helpful. He's going to be toggling that ring on. I really love this. If you don't see enemy hero on the other side of the lane, toggle that ring on. Put on some pressure on this tower. You know you're not going to be helping out your teammates elsewhere on the map because, you know, you're Morphling, you're farming early on. So might as well put some pressure and force a teleport to grow into like that. Exactly, that's what he did. TFG being forced to TP in to assist his teammates. Tinker back in the mid lane here. Good observer being dropped on the high ground. Which, by the way, nighttime is so important to have vision of the enemy hill to actually see incoming ganks and whatnot. So I'm sure he didn't buy that ward himself, but being able to place that ward is going to really allow him to be prevented by ganks. So very nicely done here. This is, again, a very, very slow early game as both teams not exactly looking for hero kills. Net looking for a rune, but it's going to spawn on the top lane, which is an illusion. So very nicely done here. For the most part, again, very, very tame game. Han Trash Pro farming it up here. Got 2k gold in the bank. I feel like the item that he wants to be going for in this particular game is BKB. Now, he might put drums before that, which is going to be fine, which is going to give him a lot of teamfight potential. But Black King Bar is going to be absolutely essential against the high nuking damage from the Morphling, Nyx Assassin, Tinker. You really need that HP, and more importantly, you need that magical immunity. You can see that the Radiant is actually putting a lot of time here on the mid lane to make sure that they don't get ganked. The Tinker don't get ganked. And so far, it's actually paying off. We do have 1,200 gold in the bank. It looks like it's going to be skipping the Soul Ring. Generally, Soul Ring is a good addition to Tinker, especially if you're going to go for this March build. We can clean up the Ancients quite easily, but seems like Butcher Travel is going to be what he's rushing for. I think Gods have actually reconnected back, so we'll hopefully be able to call them back very, very quickly. Again, we do apologize for any technical difficulties. I do believe that God's working on a wooden PC, so that's why we're having some. That's why he's not streaming right now. Sorry to Miz. No chat here, but gotta communicate with my caster. Big smoke gang coming on the mid lane here. That's going to be in the form of 3 or 4 heroes. But again, very clutch Sentry Wards. Going to see them coming. They're going to run right past this. A big wraparound gank. But these guys, they do know because of that Sentry. Teleportation is going to come in from the Prophet, or at least threatening to do so. I do believe the jig is up. And Han Trash Pro, as well as his team, kind of in an awkward angle. This is all 5 heroes on the mid lane. And I do believe they're looking for that tower kill as a result. I'm pretty sure they wanted at least 2 kills and then transition into a tower push. But again, these Sentry Wards, they're just absolutely clutch.
How are we doing, Lumi?
We're doing okay. How are you doing?
I'm doing better now because I'm back in this game. It turns out I haven't missed a kill at 10 minutes in, but it seems like, well, both teams trading a lot of farm, and I think it favors Orange a bit more here. I mean, they've got the Tinker Morphling. They build towards the late game pretty well with the Darkseer as well. I think there's I mean, they're behind a little bit on gold, but I think they're going to be okay with where they are right now.
Yep, especially with Morphling drawing the first blood on the bot lane. Here comes Skira. Is going to be dropping the RP. I don't think he should be, because considering that you will be able to strength morph within the RP as well. First blood being taken up is the big thing here. Also, the tower tier 2 being denied up top here by the Radiant. So, yeah, I completely agree with you. Even with before the first blood being picked up, the fact that the Radiant goes a bit later, and the fact that there is already 2 smoke gangs that failed on the Dire, will really limit the mid-game options for MUFC.
Yeah, I think MUFC, they really need this Shadow Demon Enchantress to pick them up some early kills and towers. They got the ones at top, it looks like, but even those, you mentioned one gets denied, it's not giving them this huge early game lead. It doesn't really feel like they're able to pull away just yet. And now, what do they fall back on? Maybe we look at, well, Luna will be getting a fast BKB, Nature's Prophet hitting level 5. Maybe they can look to then push down some other lanes here, but they're already giving up so much to Orange eSports now. And when we start looking at KYXY with a mech on his Darkseer, suddenly defending it's very, very easy.
Yeah, for me, the X factor for MUFC's got to be Wang Wang's Blink Dagger. If he sets up a good RP, Eclipse is going to follow up, and of course, everything else is going to follow up. And you could kind of win lopsided team fights when you find those RP. But obviously, you're doing RP against a very, very good team in Orange, and Morphling is not going to get caught by the RP. He's probably not even going to be there in the first place. So at most, you're going to get 2 and 3 and probably transition into a tier 1 tower push, which is not bad by all means, but they got to need a little bit more. But to me, it's going to have to start from Wang Wang.
Yeah, he's really the one playmaker. But we see actually another kill going the way of Orange. It's top lane this time. Now that Nyx has hit level 6, he can just go around the map looking for kills for his team, like what we just see happen at top lane. And MUFC, it's hard for Nature's Prophet to get some more farm and levels, and right now, he's only just hit level 6. He maybe wants to get a mech for himself and his team, but that's going to be hard to do so with this sort of ganking Nyx that we're seeing coming out of Xting. Oh, sorry, from Net.
And this is really why we don't see Prophet being run from the laning stage anymore. He really needs to get going as quick as possible. That hero takes a while to farm up. That's why you see a lot of Prophets start on the jungle, go for a quick Midas, and then transition into that mech. It looks like we're going to have a little bit of engagement here in the river. No, Net's going to be fine. Yeah, those Prophets like to transition from Midas into a Lothars or Shadowblade, or a Midas into mech. And because he has died twice so far, he's not going to get any item. And to be honest, Prophet without item is just a big range creep. Kind of 10-20 minutes in the game. He will have his ultimate. It looks like he will be setting up a gank on the top lane here against KYXY. KYXY is going to go down, so that's a very much so needed kill. Winter picks up the gold, which is not necessarily too bad, but they really want TFG to pick that one up.
Yeah, they need TFG to start catching up. It will be interesting to see if he still then goes for the Mice at this point. He may get caught out again. He's being healed up by the Enchantress. Like, is there any more backup coming in? There's a TP from the Tinker. This is going to be a dead Nature's Prophet again. Tinker TPs in with some rockets. Almost brings down the Enchantress as well, who doesn't have the heal anymore. It's on cooldown. Nyx Assassin TP's out before the Impetus comes in. I think Enchantress didn't quite realize that she could just turn around and fight that.
Yeah, she was really afraid. Maybe, of course, you got to respect the nuking damage from a Tinker. You don't really know how many points of March Machine that he has. And God forbid if he level 4 lasers you. That's a lot of damage. But I guess thankfully for her sake that, she wasn't really caught in a lot of crossfire. So she was eventually fine. I'm not sure whether I like this Arcane Boots build though. The mana is actually very nice for her because she does need quite a bit of mana, but I'm quite afraid about her survivability overall.
Yeah, it's why like what a lot of the Western players have started doing is getting a lot of early stat points on the Enchantress. They'll go for maybe 2 or 3 in enchant. They'll get like 2 or 3 basically points in stats by level 7, level 8. Get all that extra HP and mana there, and then you don't need the Arcane Boots as much because you have the extra stats giving you some mana. But we see FCFC going for 4 points in the enchant as well as the Nature's Attend. It does give you a much lower cooldown. It's much more spammable and also a lot of extra slow, but it's going to come at the cost of his own survivability. Something he's making up for now. He picks up a point booster.
And it looks like we're going to see a quote-unquote a puppy style of Enchantress. And it looks like we do have Net popping his invisibility right in the middle of the river. Probably not the best place to do so, especially when he's going to be giving away his invisibility with this Iron Shell over here. A little bit of wasted of mana as well as like big cooldown on that Vendetta, but no big deal. But we are going to see Wang Wang coming out. There's a Blink Dagger. They're going to try to push him back, and that should be a free kill, especially when he wants to use the Eclipse. No, he doesn't want to use it. They are going to get the kill. Skewer forward here. Magnus is extremely low. They want to get a kill on Extinct as well. 2 kills instantly being picked up. That's exactly what I mean about the Blink Dagger putting in a huge turnaround in this game, and that's exactly what they did.
It's like, it really is the X factor here, because I think Orange rely a lot on the ability for Tinker to TP in and basically turn fights around, but if someone gets skewered out of position, even Tinker TPing in, all they can do is maybe throw down some rockets, Nyx Assassin is going to be dead then no matter what. And Rubik, well, Extinct gives up an additional kill by getting in a bit too close as well with the Nature's Prophet TP. So the mag blink skewers, I mean, we'll see some blink RPs coming later, but just blink skewer on its own and then Nature's Prophet TP in, you've got such great catching potential for this MUFC side.
Yep. And perhaps that's the reason why we're going to see the Morphling going to be going for a Lincoln Sphere build. I mean, generally Lincoln Sphere is a very, very good item, especially when you can farm it as quickly as KK Imba farming. You talked about how he's a Imba last hitter, and he's definitely showing his worth, still leading the entire game in terms of last hit, and that's definitely impressive against a Luna with, Lunar's Blessing, as well as a Jungle Darkseer who's killing creeps that's a lot easier to kill. But speaking of which, we do have the Jungle Darkseer starting to apply a smoke gank. Gonna run into a scouting rain creep here from the Enchantress, but not gonna start without smoke.
Yep, and it doesn't look like any Central Wards to scout things out just yet from the Dire team. They're not going to see this coming, and it could come at the cost of just Winter's life here. Or no, they're going to swing back towards mid lane. So Enchantress, FC should get scouted out here. Yep, Vendetta, Nyx Assassin, not going to stand a chance here. Easy pick off for Orange Esports.
Oh, but looks like they're going to run into a little bit more here. Skewer Camp, where's the RP? No RP being dropped right now. There's a vacuum backwards. Eclipse actually being turned against back to Tron Trash Bro. He does pop the BKB. He will survive. Huge RP. That's going to be onto Rocket comes in right now. They're going to get extinct. They're looking for KYXY, and there is a pause in the middle of team fight, and that's going to give KYXY a lot of time to think about what he will do after he died. This is like the time you write your will and send it to your parents or whoever.
Yeah, he's not surged up. There's no way out of this one. I don't see him killing off Wang Wang here. He's out of range. Wang Wang's got a shockwave. That is a dead KYXY. And that BKB from Luna could not have come at a better time. He dodged the shockwave. Well, not sorry. Yeah, I think it was a stolen shockwave from the Rubik that came out and was going to kill him off. And he'd managed to pop the BKB just in time.
Yep. Although there is a Tinker on the low ground, he could probably rearm. He's rearming right now, so depending.
Well, there's rockets flying. Who are the rockets going to be hitting? I think it looks like they're going for Winter and TFG.
Yes. So maybe a second pair of rocket will be able to. I think it's magical. How does rocket work? It works very awkwardly with ethereal units, but at the end of the day, it's a magical spell, right? So it won't hit Huntrash Pro.
It won't hit BKB, and if he really wants, he could TP out right now and be perfectly fine. He's still got what 3 seconds left on his BKB. He could just TP immediately and he won't die. But he's just gonna make a run.
Yeah, easy kill being picked up here by the Dire and Seal Deal. Again, Blink Dagger putting on a huge show here for MUFC, and judging how the game went just in the past 3 minutes or so, despite the fact that MUFC is picking up kills, you see Morphling is still free farming. How do you feel like who's got the lead right now?
Well, I suddenly feel like it's much more even. I think earlier on, Orange were in a much better position, but these last couple of fights going the way of MUFC on the back of the mag, which is kind of what you'd expect. This is you get to the stage where MUFC had to make something happen once they got this blink mag up, otherwise they'd lose. And they have made something happen, so now they're back on more equal footing here. But Morphling with Tread's Lincoln Sphere up already, so he's got the extra stats he needs to stay alive, as well as all that regen that he's going to get. And now he probably looks towards that shotgun build, so we can start bringing down some of these squishy heroes like Enchantress, like Shadow Demon, right off the bat in these team fights.
And that's a very, very good time to pick up that mech, which TFG, very thankfully, thanks to those 2 Blink Dagger ganks, was able to get a couple of last hit on heroes, and he's got the makings of already the Headdress, as well as that Buckler, so he's just only 700 away from that mech, and once that mech's going to be up, that shotgun's going to be limited as well. One of the quote-unquote disadvantage of having a shotgun Morphling build after a Lincoln's is that it takes him at least 25, 23 minutes to get going, and you're basically playing 5v4 till then. You can see that KK Imba still playing rather well, putting on a lot of pressure on the bot lane to make sure that the Dire is forcing 1 or 2 heroes to defend this lane. So it's not really a true 5v4, but still, he's not going to be able to participate into teamfights so much later.
Yeah, and as a result, well, I mean, it's one less hero that we can see coming into play, and then it limits what they can do elsewhere. I mean, they really got to be playing a lot more defensive. They need to ward up and just sort of play this a more passive style of play, and that basically opens up the map for Mag to maybe to look for some big initiations like we've been seeing. He's had some nice blink RPs. He's going for a force up here, so going pure mobility Mag Wang Wang, not looking for straight into the refresh orb. He does need to be careful at bottom lane because here comes Nyx Assassin net.
Well, there's going to be also a gank up on top lane here, and as they lift it up, Imba music incoming, vacuum backwards, rocket, laser. My god, that gank is Imba as fuck. back in the mid lane here. Looks like there's engagement there as well. Han Trash Pro, they want him. They got the BKB up on Han Trash Pro, though, and they know that as well. So Han Trash Pro gonna make it out of the life into the bosoms of his teammates. Here comes the Morphling waveforming forward to clear up the creeps. But here comes a huge ARP. No RP just yet. Skewer's gonna miss. He does have RP. Got a reway on the cooldown of that Blink Dagger. Here comes the defense of the Radiant. Tinker, though, is gonna lay multiple layers of Marching Machine, and that's gonna be annoying as heck. Here comes Enchanted to disable that Lincoln Sphere. They want to focus on KYXY. He's very tanky with that Lincoln Sphere. You cannot run under that layers of Marching Machine. Huge RP. That's gonna be on 2. Where's the Skewer? No Skewer just yet. And here comes Eclipse. They want 2 kills. They are gonna get 2 kills. Can they get the 3rd? Morphling getting Strength Morph gets 1 kill. Looks like we're gonna look for another. The Rocket's gonna get a kill on the Enchantress as well. Orange eSports winning this team fight big time here. They're looking for the TFG. TFG's gonna try to TP out. There's the, oh my god, pushback of Adaptive Strike. And Orange might have been losing a couple of fights before, but they just cleaned up huge on the mid lane, and they're firmly back in the lead.
And once again, it's Extinct stealing an Eclipse at a big time. He helps bring down a lot of those squishy heroes, the Mag, the Nature's Prophet, the Enchantress, Luna. It seems to be like every time Luna has to go into a fight, she's already on like 200 HP. Pops a BKB, goes in with an Eclipse, and that time around, Morphling just stood his ground and right-clicked Luna down. Luna did manage to get a kill here and there, but it was still a case of, well, MUFC just not really going into the fight on full HP, and that's because of the Tinker. Tinker just whittles everyone down with Marching Machines, rocket spam, and by the time there's actually a clash, Mag gets off a nice RP, but MUFC already have low HP heroes. They can't really last out the fight. They have to win the fight right off the bat with that Mag RP, kill everyone in it, and if they don't, well, then it goes downhill from there.
And that's why that mech on the Darkseer makes it so that if the fight keeps going longer and longer, it's just easier and easier for the Radiant to win those fights. Let's not forget about the long-range spells, aside from the Tinker. Morphling's waveforms, a long-range spell, Adaptive Strike, as well as the nukes coming from the Rubik and Nyx Assassin. These are fairly decent range spells, and in conjunction of that Rocket, everybody's low HP, like you said. Looks like Han Trash Pro and Steam's gonna try to take that Roshan, and let's see if they will be able to do it.
Yeah, it should be possible. I mean, we're going to see Orange maybe look to come in. Darkseer hasn't got any points in Wall of Replica, though. He's level 12 and has gone full out on Surge, so we don't have a possibility of going for a Vacuum Wall, and I think it's going to be hard to contest this. It looks like, yeah, it's going to get completely given up. Enchantress with Medallion helps bring it down even faster. Hon Trash player now with an Aegis as well, so this will help out MUFC a lot in this next team fight.
The thing is, once Luna drops his ultimate and BKB, what is she really going to do? So I'm not sure how effective this BKB, or not BKB, the Aegis is going to be on Luna. I think it's more so to going to give her a get out of jail free card. So they're absolutely happy with. And they're going to try to focus on this tower. Last it's going to get claimed by Morphling. And I think they're going to keep on pushing.
Yeah, I think right now, well, you just want to keep on going, because after that last fight especially, things for Orange, they want to start looking for pickups here. Skewer on 2 though. Mag with an RP to follow things up. I don't think they can actually bring down the Morphling. He's already morphing to strength here. This is the power of the Morphling, and Mag, he's taken a bad fight, it looks like here. Dark's going to surge himself away. He doesn't have that Wall of Replica. Luna just going to pop the BKB ultimate. Morphling doesn't manage to get out of there. Tried to replicate himself out, didn't succeed in doing so. Nature's Prophet's low, still chasing, and they brought down Darkseer as well. Extinct, nope, not going to find the Nature's Prophet. He's going to pay for this with his own life, it looks like. Nature's Prophet goes down to the Tinker, though. Here comes a higher coming in with that Blink Dagger, securing himself some kills. Morphling now brought back, he waves on, he takes out one, tries to get 2, does do so. Both Winter as well as FC, the Enchantress and Shadow Demon both go down to the Morphling. Really smart buyback there coming out from him.
People are saying, where's Mushi? Where's Mushi? It doesn't seem like they need it, not for this game at least, because KK Imba definitely filling those big shoes with this Morphling play. Bought back, but completely worth it, winning that team fight. Magnus had the idea of dropping the RP on the Darkseer. I feel like he's a hero that you want to kill immediately, him and Tinker, because if you remove those 2 heroes, either you're moving a lot of healing, which is important, or you're moving a lot of damage overall. But unfortunately, once he dropped the RP, there was absolutely no follow-up. Only Enchantress was available to really help out. And once the RP was done, you know, Darkseer popped off the mech, and the teamfight didn't go well. They eventually still killed the Morphling thanks to Eclipse, but buyback, again, turned the teamfight around. The good thing about that teamfight is that Han Trash Pro was still able to retain the Aegis, which is going to be very important for these upcoming teamfights.
Yeah, it felt like Mag just got a little bit ambitious with that RP, with that skewer. He's like, okay, I can isolate 2 heroes away from the 3rd hero, because there was 3 heroes going down river, and he skewered only 2 of them back. But end of the day, they didn't stand a chance of killing off that Morphling right off the bat without throwing everything at him, and they did just that. But then they lost the fight as a result, because they had nothing for the other heroes coming in, nothing to do with the Tinker and the rest of the Orange eSports team.
We do have Nyx Assassin Smoked up and invis up. He sees Winter. He wants Winter. There's the RP being used from the Rubik. So Extinct saying, man, you got some more good RPs. I got some good RP as well without the Blink Dagger. I have to add. For anybody that's tuning in, this is the GMPGL Best of 3 series between Orange and MUFC. This is hosted by the Dota Talk, so shout out to our sponsors. But for now, Orange enjoying a very comfortable 500 gold lead, but more important, a little bit of gold lead as well, 5,000 gold lead. Looking to extend that by taking this tier 2.
Yeah, they're going to be able to bring this down. Morphling, he looks like he's just bought himself a Manta Style. He's got something flying out, and yeah, it's a Manta Style coming out from Morphling.
Yep. And I mean, it's not exactly here to debuff any kind of big, disable from the enemy team. Again, it adds nice damage, adds more HP, and just more stats for him to toggle with, which is exactly what you want as a Morphling. Let's not forget about Morphling's split pushing power as well, and those Manta Style definitely going to be very, very helpful in doing so.
Yeah, all the stats you get from it help out. I mean, even the intel at this point is something that he can play around with. Having the illusions, unfortunately, it's not the old school Morphling where you can replicate your own illusions and just be completely invincible, but it's still a very strong item in its own right. And like you say, the split push coming in from Orange is always basically another way they can look to play this. That they can transition from split push into team fight and bringing Morphling to these fights. But if he can go and go for a bit of a split push, get some tier 2 towers, pressure the tier 3s while a clash is going on, where Tinker and Darkseer are maybe handling the MUFC side, then Orange eSports could quite happily do that because Morphling will be bringing down towers really fast with this Manta Style.
Yeah, a little bit of history lessons for those of you guys didn't catch the old school Dota ones. Before there was anti-mage. Oh my god, did you see that? He just made illusions of Hontrash Pro, and Hontrash Pro just, I'm not sure.
BKB?
Yeah, he just reflexed BKB, which KK says, alright, you sure, I'll take that. But yeah, before the days of anti-mage split push or PL split push, it was just Morphling split push. That was pretty annoying to deal with, especially the days where he could make illusion of his own Manta illusions, which is pretty insane.
And the replicate would be like as strong as your main hero. Like your illusions obviously do a lot less damage and are really squishy, but the replicate of the illusions would be damn freaking hard to kill.
Yeah.
So you'd be pushing with your 2 illusions and your replicate illusion, and it looks like you'd have the real Morphling there, but it turns out it's just a replicate and it does so much damage. It was not a fun hero to verse.
Well, speaking of split push, Morphling doing just that, gonna pop the Manta and do a lot of damage. He does have replicate with his team, so he will be able to jump back in, and that replicate, it's going on the mid lane. There we go. He's going to jump back there as well. So with a BKB down for a good 20 to 30 seconds, they're going to be in big trouble. And back on the top lane, TFG got to watch out where he's standing because look at this Nyx Assassin. He's just like setting up a very complicated trap waiting for them. How do they know? How in the world do they know that?
They must have seen him go. He hasn't been invis for that long, so maybe they saw him when he went up there and then he used Vendetta afterwards, or... Yeah, they don't really seem to have... They have a gem on Winter, but he's nowhere nearby, so I'm not sure how they know. But it looks like MUFC are going to be forced to give up a tier 2 tower now as well. Their last out of tower. And, I mean, despite having this mag, they're just not making plays. They're not looking for more kills here. And I think it's because their teamfight just can't really cut it right now. The item deficit is getting too big. With Tinker getting close to a side of ice with his Blink Dagger. I mean, Morphling is just damn tanky and hard to kill. And Darkseer with a mech, the hood. Gonna have that Pipe of Insight very soon.
I feel like that if MUFC didn't take that fight right there, they would not be able to take that fight in the next 4 minutes. They still had Aegis on Luna. It just timed out now. They have Blink Dagger RP. If they're not taking a fight with those advantages, they will not be able to take a fight at all for a long, long time. So what is MUFC going to look through here? Are they going to try to extend the game and take the next Roshan, perhaps? I mean, you want to extend the game against Morphling.
I think for them, they know that this fight won't go well. They also know that long term that things aren't looking too good for them either. But they're just going to look to wait maybe for a bit of a slip up from Orange when you've got that mag RP. One bad questionable push coming out from Orange, and you can get off a big RP and win a team fight. But the problem is, some of these heroes just aren't going to have items to back it up. I mean, it's going to be entirely reliant on Luna, maybe some Enchantress and Pegasus to actually be doing the damage in these team fights.
Speaking of the late game, Tinker has fully reached that late game with a Blink Dagger and Scythe of Ice up. So it doesn't matter if you're Luna or not. If you get Scythe up, you're going to get focused down very, very easily, especially without the backup of that Aegis. And 28 minutes in with the Morphling, we are actually pushing in under the layers of the Marching Machine. You can't even actually go on this Morphling, as that tier 3 tower suffering about half his HP's damage. You can see that Magnus is invis up. He has the super mobility build like you talked about. We'll be able to jump in from the side, but this doesn't seem like that's what Orange have in mind as they port their Morphling back.
I think Orange are playing this really well. They're slowly accomplishing. I mean, they're basically putting MUFC in a place where they can't really find too many places to farm unless they just completely abandon defending. And right now, MUFC have let their top tier 3 tower get down a bit low. They've let their bottom one take a bit of damage, and they've got Nature's Prophet. I mean, in the enemy jungle, they had an Enchantress in the enemy jungle in the Orange Esports side, but they're not really. You're not really seeing any item progression in the near future. Nature's Prophet maybe picks up an Ultimate Orb to start working on a side of the Vice. Enchantress still has a bit of a way to go for the Ag Scepter. So right now, it doesn't feel like there's any sort of short-term solution to what Orange Esports are doing.
There is no short-term solution, and if you think about Luna, Luna's a decent carry if she's raxing you. Aside from that, her DPS output is, I want to say, only metacore, like against compared to a lot of the other carries. And look at Extinct and Net; they're like playing tree tags for the longest time here. Yeah. They haven't actually left her, and they're just waiting for the Prophet to TP in. Now they're not getting anything, but on the same note, Prophet's not getting anything either. I think I've seen Prophet jungling on this like high camp on the top of the Radiant Plateau for a couple of times. That's how starved of a farm that he was. And those 2 kills early on against him, those kills were extremely crucial. Skir up forward here that they're only gonna grab themselves an illusion, which I guess is something, but
well, it doesn't give you any gold, unfortunately.
Definitely not.
No gold, no XP, and well, Orange are back at top. And I imagine we'll see Net picking up a Blink Dagger on his Nyx Assassin to get a slightly better initiation. Once he's got enough gold for it, he's about 200-300 gold short. Maybe it's a 4-staff instead, but I think the Blink Dagger is a really nice way to go blinking and initiating to help break the high ground. Especially maybe try to find a pick off on the mag, and then Tinker can follow it up, because you don't want Tinker blinking in first, otherwise he may just get instantly burst down. But Nyx Assassin, you blink in, you stun, and then you carapace, and there's nothing the enemy team can do.
Looks like they want to perhaps set up a gank here against the Morphling. 3 or 4 guys coming right in. Tinker's going to be here as well. If they catch both, it could be a pretty big win. But Trash Pro, perhaps the one that's going to get caught. High ground vision allowing them to see. Well, there's a rocket to, going to be their opening gift for now. But that's going to chase Trash Pro, teleporting away. Roshan, by the way, is going to be back in about a minute. And I'm not too sure Dire even could take a fight at the Roshan, considering that KYXY has mech, has pipe, and has a gem on top of, or no gem, Sentry Ward.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think MUFC can really contest it either. It's going to be really I mean, especially with these lanes being constantly split push out by Tinker. We've got Morphling once again at bottom lane. He's maybe even going to get this tier 3 tower. MUFC, they're maybe going to get pick off here on Net, but look at this tier 3 bottom tower. Things are not looking good for them.
Ooh, Net's going to go Invismo here, but here comes the Tinker Illusion. BKB gets popped on Trash Pro again. I'm not exactly sure why, and with that BKB down, that Roshan's going to be forfeited. Wang TP gets canceled here, and looks like, no, instead, they're not even going to go for the Rex. By the way, Shotgun is already up on the Morphling. He only needs to deliver it, which you see that Courier's flying right back in. There's a Morphling TP back out, and he's going to be going back straight to the base, and Morphling, he could easily strut back into the Roshan pit and go for it if he wants. But I feel like the Radiant team have missed a tiny bit of opportunity. They could have grabbed Rax, or they could have grabbed the Aegis, but for now...
They got bottom
oh, they got the melee Rax already. Yeah, sorry to call that.
Yeah, Morphling just got solo Raxes here. So Mag will try to find an opening here. They're looking for Net. They have got vision with this gem, but Carapace gets popped, and well, suddenly Net gets a lot harder to kill off. They will get him with the Luna, with the Eclipse, and now we see the wall of Replica coming down. So many illusions everywhere, causing MUFC all kinds of sort of positioning issues, and MUFC, once again, they're forced back, and they're going to lose TFG as well. He's caught in the middle things. He's not really able to retreat, and, well, they lose Nature's Prophet. FC, he's in the March of the Machines. He's getting really low. Nature's Prophet finally gets brought down, and, well, now they can go into Roshan, like you said. Or, I mean, they can just look to maybe push another lane here. I mean, I feel that Orange can do almost absolutely anything at this point. This game is in their hands. Ethereal Blade up on the Morphling, so he's going to be bursting down basically whoever he chooses out of the 2 supports. Even the Nature's Prophet's really squishy, so things going to get more and more difficult for MUFC.
Yep, they're going to swing right into the Roshan using the movement path or movement Q for your Morphling illusions, so they don't actually attack Roshan, and basically will be tanking them up. He's morphing a lot of it to agility, almost full agility at this point, not only increasing his right click damage, but more importantly, that shotgun will be absolutely beautiful to watch. I haven't seen a good shotgun in a long time, and I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it as well. I actually saw one just yesterday, I think it was, in something. I was casting some Dota 2 match in a Southeast Asian Dota. No, it was Southeast Asian Dota 2 match. I think it must have been the day before in the what would it have been? I cast too many Dota 2 games, as people who follow Beyond the Summit know. We have like 14 hours of content on 2 different channels going on at once. So I'm just like, all the games blurred together. But there was definitely a Morphling played by, it was Zenith. It was Zenith in their Dota Talk League. Zenith picked it in a match against someone. They had XY playing Morphling, and he went for a Lincoln's Ethereal build. And then he got a Dagon. It was Zenith versus Benesca, I remember, because all the Pinoys were in chat and getting upset because they were losing to a Dagon 5 Morphling.
Dagon 5 Morphling's pretty legit. I don't see the issue.
Hey, it was, I mean, especially with an Ethereal Blade.
Yeah, there you go.
It was some painful burst. He still got Lincoln's first. It was Lincoln's, Ethereal Blade, and by that point, it's like, okay, Zenith managed to get ahead enough to win. So XY's like, I'm just going to do a bit troll and get myself a Dagon in. Unfortunately for Messi, they put up a good fight, but it wasn't enough. But this game here, the Morphling, more standard items all around. He did go the Manta, then the Ethereal Blade. He's got 2.3k gold already, so we're looking at his next item coming up in the next couple of minutes if he needs it. But I have a feeling Orange Esports, they may manage to take another set of Rakdos before then, and this may force a GG out of MUFC if MUFC can't find a big team fight with this Mag ulti.
I mean, they're just fighting every disadvantage. They only have the hill, which is a slight advantage, but there's an Aegis on the Morphling, and they probably will be able to bring him down once, but definitely not twice. And here we go, Morphling just putting his body in the way here, gets one Rax, or one tower easily. The melee Rax in big trouble. Manta Sao as well as Hype already getting popped, and just zero defense here for that Rax. Here comes a shotgun. There's an instant kill on the Shadow Demon. And Luna in big trouble as well. Where's the Scythe? No Scythe on him just yet. There's a vacuum forcing out a BKB, but Trash Pro just have to run with that BKB. Second lane of Rax just goes down without even any trouble for Orange Esports.
Yeah, I mean, Morphling gets down a bit low here, but he gets mech back up. He's still got the Aegis, and well, Orange Esports, they're not taking any chances. This is a team they really want to beat, especially after their last encounter where MUFC managed to beat Orange Esports in the best of 3. So they want to get themselves some revenge here, and it's looking good here.
And doing it without
GMPGL
Mushi.
Malaysia qualifier. Yeah, without Mushi. I mean, you say that, but this Kasik Imba, the little Imba one, apparently it translates to, is really
Pretty Imba.
His farm, this was, I'd say, as good or potentially even better than Mushi at times. I mean, this was as perfect a Morphling as you could play. I honestly, I don't think there's a single thing you can point at and say, oh, he could have done that a bit better. He missed a few last hits under his tower. No, that didn't happen. I mean, I heard you saying Luna was missing last hits under tower, and there was a few. Obviously, Trash play's not had his best game with some of these BKBs, but all in all, this Morphling play's been perfect. He's going to catch up the Mag at mid lane as well, and this could be the end for MUFC.
Well, Trash Pro does pick up a couple kills, but his BKB's out, and here comes a big bad Morphling. Morphling's gonna just clean out everything that he sees along his path, including a couple of Luna Illusion. But with that team fight, Magnus try to again blink in, use that blink dagger to their advantage, but the quick Scythe advice from the Tinker would just basically seal the deal. Yeah, Magnus is back alive, but they don't have Eclipse, and I don't think without the Eclipse they will be able to take a fight.
Yeah, Morphling just goes straight at the high ground, starts pelting away in the tier 3 tower, and this will be the end for him, perhaps. We've got a Rubik illusion of the Morphling Replica at the bottom lane, trying to get that last range Rax, and Kasik Imba, well, he just finished off the Raxes. He's not worried about diving in. The layers of March the Machine's going to basically prevent any engagement coming in. Wang Wei, Blink 4-star. He tried to go in.
God!
Shotgun down. Morphling's got another ultimate orb. He was going to be looking for that Skadi. It looks like a Trash player sheeped up. He will be kept alive a bit longer thanks to Winter's Disruption, but, well, he'll survive, in fact. It gives him time to top up that BKB, but, oh, he may not even survive this.
Oh my god, Trash Pro getting dove upon in his own fountain. Nice mech up here from KYXY, but that's all she wrote.
Yeah, absolutely perfect Morphling play.
It's good to see a good perfect Morphling play game from time to time. Yeah.
I mean, the last ones we basically saw was at the International 2 when we had like Sylar playing every single game for LGD. This is, I mean, very reminiscent of what we saw back then. Obviously, the hero's slightly less strong, but this was nice. Nice to see.
Maybe next game we'll eat chocolate. Not sure what that's about, but I mean, this game I've seen TFG farm that camp on the Radiant Jungle more than any other hero. And I think that's just a good indication how the storyline of the game went. He got shut down early, his team was not able to really kind of compete, if you will. Wang had a big game early on, but after that he wasn't able to do much at all, and it was all the it was just the Imba show, if you call it, past the 20-minute mark.
It really has been. And MUFC, I mean, to me, the early game just needs to be better for them. They got the highest gold lead they had was maybe about 1k really early on. But when you got a Shadow Demon Enchantress, like even the Nature's Prophet and the Luna picks, this is where you need to be. If your team doesn't have a 5k gold lead at about 15 minutes in, you're probably not going to win unless Orange makes some mistakes and give you some good team fights with the Mag ultimate. Which, I mean, Orange, I don't think they made mistakes. I think Mag made some nice plays, got a few pickoffs here and there, but Orange just never really were behind at any point. And when with the Enchantress pick, you have to get ahead, and MUFC just couldn't find those kills and towers early.
Yeah, those Sentry Wards right in the mid lane protecting from smoke ganks, those were keys in my opinion. But for now, game 1 is in the book. Orange will take this game very, very easily. We're going to go into a game 2 as this is a best of 3 series. Of course, this is the GMPGL hosted by the Dota Talk, and we are beyond the summit. Luminous and Gods. We'll be taking a short break, and we'll be back momentarily. Don't go anywhere, guys.